Speaking of all whites, there goes Dyer. And deflection will sit up nicely for him. Tracks it down, opens up to his right boot. The cross towards Ricci. Second effort, it dribbles it. No! Did Akio clear that off the line himself? What in the world? Ricci had that going, trying to make sure it got over the goal line, and in the end, has a goal line stand. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That is clearly going in. Willie gets there, and yes, he keeps it out himself.
Inside the Hulin dump on the outskirts of the Mozambican capital, Maputo, at least 500 people scavenge through garbage every day to survive as preparations get underway to close the space where 16 people were buried in 2018. Fear now hangs over the heads of those who depend on garbage to live, as what should be a reason for natural joy, the end of an open-air dump, is currently generating anguish. That could be chaos. It could increase the level of prostitution because we have a lot of ladies here and a lot of young women. We also have a lot of young people. They could have access to free courses. It could be carpentry, metalworking, or mechanics. And at the end, they could give material. The dump would close and we would be in peace. Most of the collectors who scavenge the 25 hectares of the largest garbage dump in Mozambique are women who live on the poverty line from different provinces. Hanging from the back of a garbage truck or dodging the front shovel of a backhoe, in this job, whoever gets there first succeeds. People don't work because they like it. They work because of poverty, to catch something. They pick up things to eat, to wear, objects. There are businessmen who buy those products and give them money. A total of 16 people living in the surrounding area lost their lives early morning of February 19, 2018, when rain caused a portion of the dump to collapse on the slum with the height of a 3-story building. The tragedy would lead to the current plan to close the dump, which has been postponed before. A police minister in Pretoria, South Africa, has told the community of Nomzamo Park in Soweto that investigators found over 130 spent cartridges from high-caliber weapons at the scene of a deadly mass shooting that took place on Sunday. We are going to try and increase police visibility in the streets of this place. We want to take them back. We want to saturate the streets here. It should be us as police ruling the streets and not the criminals controlling and ruling the streets. Becky Sele was on Monday at a community meeting with Nomzamo residents following the attack. 12 people were declared dead on the scene after masked gunmen firing pistols at random burst into a crowded tavern in Soweto, Gauteng province. Even yesterday, and I am still hearing this again, that people are playing with guns. There are too many guns here. There are people who arrive carrying AK47, killing so many people. It simply means that there's too many illegal firearms. Therefore, we are going to have a clampdown, a lockdown of the area for about 24 hours, and we'll do a door-to-door, mattress-to-mattress search for these weapons. In another shooting over the weekend, at least 4 persons were killed in Pietermaritzburg. Community members in South Africa have complained of poor policing and the absence of electricity, which leave people vulnerable to crime.
South Africa is reeling from a spate of bar shootings over the weekend. 21 people were killed when armed men burst into 3 taverns and opened fire indiscriminately. In Soweto in Johannesburg, 15 people were killed and several others seriously injured late on Saturday night. Nomandla Masumpa lost 3 relatives in the shooting. She says, "I was getting into bed when I heard gunshots. It was as if it was happening right in my backyard. There was one gun that sounded like an AK47 or some kind of machine gun. I had a sinking feeling in my stomach. That's when I knelt down beside the bed and started to pray. Namadla's son says he was inundated with phone calls while he was at work, informing him of the death of his cousins. He says he's still struggling to make sense of it. This is a very painful and heavy situation. We had so many happy moments together as a family, so losing them in this manner hurts a lot. But what do you say when something like this happens? We lived peacefully together and now they are all gone with no reasonable explanation. It's not like they'd fought with anyone before they died. Police have launched a manhunt for 5 suspects in the Soweto shooting, while investigations continue in connection with the various killings that took place across provinces over the weekend.
Select, mold, leave to dry and wear. This is how the ladies in Zimbabwe's rural town of Domboshava prepare the cow dung they will use as makeshift sanitary pads to manage their menstruations. For Constance Dimingo, a physical disability compounded by poverty has made a natural monthly cycle a period of shame.
I last wore a pad when my mother died last year. Now, I have to use anything I can find, wrap papers and clothes around it, so I can stop the blood from leaking. I wish my mother was still alive to buy me pads and medication for my menstrual pain.
72% of girls do not have access to commercial sanitary ware or clean sanitation facilities. Constance, her epileptic sister, and 3 other grandkids rely completely on the assistance of their visually impaired grandmother to manage their menstrual hygiene during that time of the month.
I take the cow dung and prepare it so it easily absorbs the blood. I cut and fold many clothes over it to avoid itching when placed on the underwear. Then, I show them how to close their private parts to block the bleeding.
For the equivalent of $2, sanitary pads are beyond reach for Constance and most of the country's 3 million menstruating girls. 62% miss school every month while menstruating, while those with disabilities often drop out altogether. And as more girls desperately resort to these unhygienic measures, health workers fear exposure to reproductive health risks such as cervical cancer.
Girls complain of itching and burning sensations in the vagina. When examined at the hospital, we see cervical cancer cells. The sexual reproductive health risks are now too high. We are advocating for the ladies to receive sewing machines in the villages so they can learn to make reusable pads.
The Southern African nation has made efforts to ease the situation by scrapping tax on all sanitary ware. But period poverty is being exacerbated by inflation, currently standing at over 191%. Families have to choose between feminine products or buying food, with most settling on the latter. Nyashake Mutizwa, Africa News, Domboshava, Zimbabwe.